Okay, hi family again. I'm going to start with one Bible verse. It's Ephesians 3 verse 20. This is it's called the Passion Translation. It's just a little more vibrant. It's not one for like deep theological study. But anyway, it says, "Never doubt God's mighty power to work in you and accomplish all this," which he talks about all kinds of great stuff before that. "He will achieve infinitely more than your greatest request, your most unbelievable dream, and exceed your wildest imagination. He will outdo them all, for his miraculous power constantly energizes you." So the main thing there is just that God can do, way more than we even think. And a lot of times when I pray, I'm like, God, I can ask and imagine a lot, and I'm asking and imagining for a lot. So go for it, right? God would rather have you err on the side of like shooting for the moon, rather than, oh, can I just have a little crust of bread today? Which maybe that's, an appropriate prayer for a given day. But also, God wants to just turn you back on. And everybody, we get beat up by life and things die because we let them. It's understandable, but God brings new life, right? Jesus rose from the dead. He defeated death. All right, that was just my kickoff. So you're watching a work in progress. I don't know when the last video was that I did, but it's been longer than I thought it would be. And I haven't heard like this screaming, specific, detailed, tell your family this thing. I've had some good conversations with God. I've heard some things, but even like today, I haven't really directly heard that kind of inner voice that was clearly speaking that I'm like, I know that's God. Doesn't mean he's not with me. He doesn't hear. And also, it's not like, we don't have a whole Bible, thousands of pages of God speaking to us of his truth. Like, we always know, Jesus said, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's enough to keep us, some clear guidance on what to do for all of our life, if we could ever even live up to that. Anyway, so it's a work in progress. Here's couple of specific things that I want to say. Some of it's kind of basics and primers, but when you pray, let's say you're starting from zero, right? It's important to pray out loud. Now, you can pray silently, of course, but it's different. I'm not sure why. It's different and better. And address God. So very simple, like, God, are you there? That's a totally legit prayer. Say it out loud. Or, God, thank you today for something you are thankful for. But the habit of praying out loud, because eventually what prayer will become is declaring, and as you get closer to God, you're basically going to be speaking on his behalf, like on earth and to people. And so, it's important to get in the habit and be comfortable of praying out loud. And I'm not saying you have to do that in front of other people, just, even by yourself. For a long time, I prayed a lot, but it was silent, right? So I'd have like a quiet time and I wouldn't say a thing. I'd get out the Bible and then be quiet. I'd read, think. I'd know God knows my thoughts. I'd feel strongly about something. I'd think a prayer. And that's okay. That's legit. God knows our thoughts. But over, and a lot of years, praying out loud does something even more and better. There is there's a power in our voice. God created us for that, right? So that's part of why praying out loud is important. All right. Reading the Bible. Where do you even start? Just start by reading the Gospel of Mark. Okay, it's kind of quick to the point of a lot of things about Jesus, and to get started is just like, who is Jesus, right? What's he all about? And as you read through it, say, God, that doesn't make sense. God, that's weird. Will you help me understand that? There's going to be some things like, oh yeah, duh, that's pretty obvious. And other things that, will probably be mysterious to you until you get to heaven. But read the Gospel of Mark, okay? That's a good place to get started. Now, let's see. The last thing is just to say, I want to encourage everybody to hope again. Especially, the older we are, the more shattered dreams we've had, the more pains we've had in general, right? You can get your heart broke even young, of course. In fact, children do, and then just move on with it and kind of forget about it. But hope again. What God wants is the spark back. And so either, what you're hoping for wasn't what he wanted, and he'll give you peace about that, or some things will, be answered maybe in a new and different way. In general, God wants even better than what we know, than what we want. But also over time, he'll put things in you that you hope for that are actually what he wants, and you're going to get, hopes and dreams are going to come true, right? So try again, right? Step up to the plate, do some of these basics, because things are different than before and better, right? To engage with God, to talk to God. A lot of these things that we maybe grew up learning, growing up in Catholic school or going to church, and we hear them so often and we don't really see them, that kind of forget that they're just reduced to kind of like a bumper sticker thing. There's reality behind it, and some of those things have become more real to us more often now going forward. So that's all. 7 minutes. There we go. Hope it's a good one. There's one that I'm noodling on. It's got like about 3 parts, and it's long and kind of convoluted. So I think I'll give you a heads up that maybe I will put that one together, and it'll be kind of a different format. It'll be like a long rambler, but lots of really important stuff, really good stuff along the way. So I'm thinking that might be the next one coming, just fair heads up. Okay, love you all, praying for you all the time. God's good.